Hi, and good morning to Monday Mornings with Margie. It's been a couple weeks since you've seen me last. I was on vacation, but I'm back. And I'm very excited to have the guest I have on today. Fortunate for him to take time out of his very busy schedule between work and 3 kids under the age of 3.
3, yeah.
3, yeah. I'm psyched to have this conversation. So the focus today for me is both to talk a little bit about Juan is a first responder. He's a firefighter and an EMT, and he's also an immigrant who recently became a citizen, which is such exciting news.
Right.
And one of the things I think it's important to be talking about kind of in light of everything going on in the world with COVID, really makes you focus on the essential workers, and obviously first responders are a main part of our essential workers. And then also, in light of things going on with the Black Lives Matter movement and in general, just race and immigration in general, I think it's important to highlight those areas and how those things intertwine with stress, mental health, and also resilience. So welcome, Juan. Thank you for being here. So I just wanted to start off a little bit for you to just tell the people listening or watching, where are you from originally? And what were some of the reasons that you decided to come to the US, and how old and that kind of stuff?
Well, where I'm from Uruguay, South America. It's a small country. Not many people know. It's a small country between 2 giants. It's Argentina and Brazil. That's a small country right there. Well, now I'm a firefighter EMT, but I never expected to be one. When I came to this country, I was only 19 years old, and my goal was to be a dancer. I want to dance. When I was 11 years old, I started doing breakdancing, and we all know the capital of breakdancing is United States, New York, LA. So I always want to be a dancer. So one of my goals was come here and become a dancer. And well, when I was 19, I decided, well, let's just go and try. I remember I told my parents a month before I moved here, and they couldn't believe it. So like, you don't speak nothing English, you don't know nothing about the country. And I was like, well, just go and try it. It's only $400, a bag with a couple clothes, and just go and see what happened. I was young. I never thought about it too much. Maybe
Sure.
if I would thought about it, I wouldn't do it. But I even if I thought about it, I will do it again, because in my life has happened, everything's happened is good. Nothing was, yeah, you have some moments is up and down, and it's difficult, it's hard, but you keep moving forward. You have to keep going forward.
Absolutely. So what was your experience, I guess, when you originally came to the US? Maybe how did you feel received, and how was your sort of state of mind when you finally got here and you were sort of integrating into a new culture? I'm sure there was some culture shock. You don't speak the language or don't speak it well. So what was that experience like for you initially? Juan, for some reason, your volume has gone off. I'm not hearing you.
Everything you see, like you see from the movies. Oh, look, it looks like the movies and everything. And from the beginning, as soon as I get to the airport, it was tough. It was really tough, because, and I tell people sometimes they don't believe it. I was walking the airport, and as soon as I get to airport, New York, they come 2 officers with the dogs, and they pick me right there, and they take me on the sides, and they check the entire bag. And it was me and my best friend who came here together, right? And they take us to a different room both. I was only 19 years old, and I remember they put me in the room. and it was, they put me against the wall, they checked me all up and down, and it was one guy on the other side hitting the walls and screaming and things. And one guy came here and said, I know you have drugs, I know you print drugs. And I was like, no, I have nothing. I mean, I don't even know what you're talking about. He was like, who you came with? My best friend. And he said, well, let me tell you something. We talked to him, and he said he doesn't know you. And I was like, well, he's lying, because I know him since he was 5 years old. And it was like this. It was like for 2 hours, like interrogation, intimidation, and all the thing. And at the end, didn't find out anything. Obviously, I didn't came to do anything wrong. I remember the guy said, well, if you come to United States, you come to work, make a better life for you, you're welcome. But don't come here and sell drugs and do, bad stuff. And I was like, no, I came here, I want to dance. That's all I want to do. And I remember that was my first trip. It was scary. It was really scary.
Wow.
I remember the guy said, so if you have nothing wrong, why are you so nervous? And I was like, because this is no normal. I mean, never went through this. And like, obviously I'm nervous.
Right.
Especially not speaking English at all. Like a guy speaking Spanish and the other one was screaming English. So I was like, it was rough. It was rough beginning, but like I say, it just gotta go with the punch sometimes. Like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you find as you sort of integrated into U.S. culture, in learning the language, I would assume that you had situations where people embraced you or were helpful to you. Did you experience those kind of things where people either took you under their wing or were trying to help you so that you could kind of make your way in the beginning?
Well, at first, at the beginning, I moved. I was in New York, but I ended up living in Leominster. And Leominster has a Uruguayan colony. It's pretty big. So I used to live there. I live in an apartment building. It was like, I would say 80% of people live in the apartment, they're all Uruguayan. So I feel like I'm still in Uruguay. I feel like I speak Spanish. I can still eating the same food and everything. But after like 2 years, it's a point that I told myself, like, I'm here. I need to learn the language because I want to communicate with a lot more people, not just people who speak Spanish.
Sure.
And one thing I can say is like the American people helped me a lot. It's a lot of people who helped me with jobs, helped me with learning English and everything, and I never feel left out. I feel like they helped me a lot. Everything I needed, they always there for me. And I remember one time I went back to Uruguay, and some people like, oh yeah, because American people are racist and this. And I was like, well, from my experience, I got nothing but love from the American people. They helped me a lot, and that helps me to go from a colony which only speak Spanish, all Uruguayan, to to interact with more people. So it wasn't easy, but
Sure.
they made it easy for me.
That's great. That's great. Well, I think, it speaks to who you are as a person too, because I think people are also invested in people that they see their character, they see they have integrity, they see they're hardworking, and they want to be, embraced in this way. So I think there's a mutual piece that, happens there. So I want to talk a little bit about if you've experienced stress or not if, but how much stress or what are the stressors you've experienced. And I want to talk one as sort of like coming in as an immigrant, or what someone might say a person of color or a brown person, or however you want to, Latino, whatever. And then also I want to talk a little bit about your experience as being a first responder as well. But let's start with your experience being a person of color as well as an immigrant. What would you say are maybe some of the main stressors you've experienced?
Oh, the main stressor I can tell you is the language. The language, to be able to express yourself or communicate. And I will say too, the culture shock, like it's so different. But the language barrier, it was high. It was high. And in this part of the country where it's so cold in winter, that's one another thing it was stressful, is depression. I found myself, especially in the winter, be so depressed.
Mm.
Depressed at the point that like I was like either keep moving or you're going down. You know, you just have to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
And not having the language and being immigrant in this country, and you know, and trying to work right here. You're not supposed to work,
Mm-hmm.
but you know you have to live somehow, and you have two choices. As an immigrant, as a Latino, like when you meet with people, you have two choices. You either do the right thing, and you have to work hard, and you're gonna suffer, and it's gonna be hard, or you can do the wrong thing. It's gonna be easy, but that's the wrong thing to do. If you know what I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
Latino and all stuff. And well, I always chose to do the right thing, you know, because that's how I was raised up. That's how, you know, to,
Mm-hmm.
for respect of my family.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, especially like I said in winter, working, and sometimes you don't have a job, and be by yourself right here. It's like, okay, so how am I gonna pay my bills? How am I gonna eat? How am I gonna do things?
Right.
And be illegal in this country is hard. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
to try to find a job, and then plus come all that's a stress, and then comes the winter, and you miss your family, you miss,
Sure.
and that's where the depression set,
You
and like,
miss the light, you miss the sun, you miss the warmth.
and that's when the pressure set. And if you, I will say, if you're not strong right here,
Mm-hmm.
that will take you down quick, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember in time I used to be in my kitchen, and I used to lay down and cry and cry and cry because I miss my family, because I this and that. And at a point it was like, all right, you cry, good. Now stand up and keep moving, because you can't sit right here. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you sit right here, it's gonna be the worst thing you ever done. So you
Mm-hmm.
just have to keep moving.
Mm-hmm. And you did keep
Yeah,
moving.
I did keep moving.
And you eventually became an EMT.
Yeah,
And then in the last 2 years,
4 years
4 years,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, you've become a firefighter. So
yeah.
tell me first, what's your experience being Latino and a first responder? And also, what has your experience been being a first responder?
Well, being Latino as a first responder is, it has its highs and lows. Like especially in small towns, you know, when there's no, where I live, there's no many Latino communities, so you know it's a little bit different. Um, I will say, for an entire department, I'm the only Latino person working there,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a little different sometimes, you know. But I don't know. In times it's good. In times it's good because you being Latino, you can help other people who doesn't speak English,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes me feel a lot of joy. You know, like when I do it, like, and even sometimes lately the police department call me, hey Juan, we have a person right here who doesn't speak English, only speaks Spanish. Can you come and translate it? Boom, I go there, and it feels so good to be able to help other people. It can.
Sure.
Um, and as an EMT, with like, first as a firefighter, I tell everybody I think it's the best job in the world, because for me it's not a job. You know, I love what I do. I go to work happy, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
that's my house too. But mentally affect you in the ways that sometimes you don't realize, like, because we see a lot of bad stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way we cope with it, we make jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's fine, but we make jokes, we talk. But it's a point when, like, it's a point when you sit in bed, when you rest your head in the pillow, and that thing comes.
Mm-hmm.
You start thinking about it, and you start thinking, what if I could do something different? What if, why this happened? Like, it's special when it's related to kids. That's when it's the worst. You know, it's we having some calls related to infants, and like I can't even talk sometimes, because it's rough. It's rough.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes again, like, if you know mentally strong, you can take that home, and that can affect you know, your relation with your kids, your relation with your wife, everything. So you have to leave everything, but at the same time you have to talk with somebody. You have to be able to, like Alicia, I talk with her a lot, and that's great. It helps me a lot, because sometimes if you don't talk and you keep all inside you, that thing is gonna come out one day.
Right. Right. And you also are big into exercise and fitness.
Yes, I do. And I think working out, I don't know about I don't take no medication, but I know some people prescribe medication, but I think working out helps so much mentally, people. It's insane. I don't know how to explain it, but it's insane. Like sometimes I'm down and I work out and it's my body. Everything feels so great after a while.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, I mean, exercise is in the world of mental health. I mean, it is a way of producing some of the chemicals that you take with antidepressants. Now, for some people, exercise isn't enough and they need to take medication, but other people, exercise, especially sort of moderate to intense exercise, can really have the same antidepressant effects. Yeah. And I think it's a good release, especially in the work you're doing as well, is that you need to have, talking is one part, absolutely, but having that physical release, I think is huge.
Yeah, every time we have, and the guys sometimes they tell me like, every time we have a call, it's kind of difficult. I just go back to work and I just change and I work out. I run for like a mile and I just work out. And I feel great after that, you know?
Yeah.
You know, because that's the way I try to release some stress. Like, you know how it is. Some people release stress drinking, and other people, release stress and stuff. For me, it's like working out.
Sure.
You know, I get tired, I sweat, I get tired. That's how I release stress.
One thing I was thinking too, when you were talking about being the only Latino person on the firefighter force, are you the only one on the police, with the police in the town you're in too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
You're like representing there.
I know.
So the other thing I was thinking about is, not only the option of, being able to interpret, but I'm also thinking just having other first responders be sort of exposed, so to speak, or around and connecting with someone as a colleague has to be helpful as well.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like I'm always trying to when we go calls and somebody speaks only Spanish, I'm always trying to go there and help. I always try to say, hey, if you ever need anything, I work in the Garden Fire Department. You can. I'm the only Spanish guy right there. So you call and you can ask for me. And I've been helping a lot of people like that. And that makes me feel so good. It feels so good. Be able to go. So all the people who doesn't speak English, they know that if they got an emergency or they need something, they know at least it's, hey, this is the guy who can speak Spanish. This is a Spanish guy. So let's go. Let's talk with him. Let's do something.
That's great.
That feels really good.
That's great. So I wanted to close with the fact that recently you became a United States citizen. Congratulations. And that's amazing and exciting. And I'm wondering how it feels since you've become a citizen, and how do you feel like there's going to be ways that it makes your life easier or not? I don't know. I'm just curious what it is from your experience of it.
Well, it will make my life easy. And if you look at for the side, like I have never voted in my life, not in Uruguay, because I moved when I was 18. And then, I was illegal here for 6 years, and then I was a resident. Being a resident, you can do practically everything except for two things: being a jury duty or vote. That's the two things. And this election is going to be my first time in almost 40 years. I'm going to vote.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped about it. Yeah. And yes, it's going to change my life because I'm going to express myself and put my vote. And maybe if the candidate who I'll vote for win, that's changing my life. That's changing where I live. That's changing my kids' life. And I feel it's great to be able to go, and especially as a Latino, say like, hey, here's my vote. This is what I want. So, like I say, having you resident card, you can do everything, but you're not able to vote. So, and that's big for me, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I got like, I can tell you right now, like 6, 7 friends of mine, they just become U.S. citizens too.
That's
And
great.
I would tell them, we were talking, I was like, hey, we need to go out and vote.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is we become a citizen and we have a big right here. Let's go and do it, go and use it, because if not, what? I mean, I could stay a resident for the rest of my life.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
But no, I want to be a citizen because I want to be able to go and put my vote right there. I can't wait for it.
It's interesting because right now, as you're talking, there's the funeral of John Lewis from the
Yeah.
House of Representatives, and that was his thing, like getting the voting rights passed and about people voting. And so
Yeah.
it's sort of like interesting that you, as you know, a new U.S. citizen, is talking about that experience, and this person just died,
Yeah.
but he fought his whole life to get everybody that right. And so it's kind of it's inspiring. And
in the same thing too, nowadays you see how everything's going. I feel like people who probably see me and see like, hey, this brown guy, he has an accent, why he should vote? He's not even American. But hello, now I'm American. I have the same right that you born here have.
Mhm.
So even though I'm brown and I have an accent, I have the same equal right that you have. So
right.
guess what? I'm gonna go there and put my vote.
Well, and if you think about it, you've lived, I believe, if I have your age range right, you've lived in the U.S.
More than
longer
Yep.
than you lived in Uruguay.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so you are an American citizen through and through.
Yep.
So, and a first responder, which is a very American and very patriotic and selfless thing to do.
Yeah, that's sort of thing like when I used to tell my my mom, because I remember in Uruguay when I was a kid, we used to watch a show called 911.
Mm-hmm.
And I always love the sirens over it. And who will tell, like 17, 16 years later, I'm gonna be part of one of those people who like
Yep.
goes and do the best they can, protect. And like when you are first responder, or at least as a firefighter, if I have to go in the house with some fire and I have to rescue somebody or save somebody's life, putting my life in jeopardy, I don't care if you're Asian, black, white. I don't care if you like Trump, you don't like Trump. I don't care. What I care is your life and make sure that I can do the best I can, my training and everything, to take you out of it and save your life. So when it becomes a first responder, you don't see color, you don't see language, you don't see country, you don't see
Politics,
you don't see none of that.
Right.
The only thing you see is somebody's life that you better do your job and take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it happened working as an EMT, taking care of people in the back of the ambulance. I've been calling names, obviously. And what do? I laugh because I'm like, yeah, you can call me all the names you want. I'm still helping you because this is my job and this is what I'm supposed to do. So go ahead, keep it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what people call you or names they call you. I know what kind of person I am, and that's all I care.
Right. Well, we're lucky to have you as a first responder and as a U.S. citizen. I mean that, truly from my heart. And I appreciate you being on and taking the time to talk today.
Not a problem.
I think this is really helpful, and I think it just is informative. And I think there's people that can relate, and there may be people who can't relate, but then they hear it and they understand better.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the goal is in everything we do, is to bring people together instead of pulling people apart.
One thing I like to say is, like, for those who are watching, they're like, not every brown people who talk with accent came here to sell drugs and do bad stuff, I will say 98% of people who come to this country comes to work hard, try to make the better they can and help others. Because that's what we do. Like, at the same time, you make your life better, you will help others. It makes other people's life better too.
Right. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing with us.
You're very welcome.
And thank you to all the people listening and watching. And I hope you have a great week. And I will see you next week on Monday Mornings with Margie. Take care and be well.
All right.